disburses 100 billion naira to indigenous pharmaceutical manufacturers.
Global News.
Foreign theme United Nations Security Council seek peace softening in Africa.
This is Freedom Global News.
Good evening, you're listening to Freedom Global News on 99.5 FM. I am Hauwa Adamu Kiyawa. Today's the 9th of August 2022, which is equivalent to the 11th of Muharram 1444 after Hijri. And now the news in full. The Chief of Defence Staff General Lucky Irabor has assured Nigerians that the 2023 general elections will hold amid the worsening insecurity across the country. There have been serious concerns by Nigerians as to whether the polls will be conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, across the country, as terrorists and bandits keep having a field day despite repeated assurances by the federal government to tackle insecurity. Speaking during a media parley today at the Defence Headquarters in Abuja, General Irabor said the military will do everything possible to ensure that nothing stops the poll from holding. The defense chief also reiterated the commitment of the military to protecting, and it has not changed, its democratic ideals in Africa's most populous nation. According to him, the military has made a covenant to protect Nigeria's democracy, and it has not changed its position. The parley is meant to solicit the support of the media organizations towards tackling the security challenges in the country. It is the second in the series of engagements between the Chief of Defence Staff and executives and editors of media organizations in Nigeria. The House of Representatives has summoned the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, to make available before it all documents relating to subsidy claims from 2013 till date. Chairman Special Ad Hoc Committee investigating petroleum subsidy regime, Ibrahim Aliyu, said this when Mr. Stephen O'Connor, the Director of Home Finance in the Ministry, appeared before it in Abuja today. The chairman of the committee gave the minister August 16th to make herself available with all the relevant documents in subsidy claims. The chairman said that the minister must answer the total amount released from the consolidated revenue account as subsidy payment from 2013 until date. He said that the breakdown of beneficiaries' companies that received subsidy payments from the consolidated revenue account must be submitted. According to the chairman, the statement by the minister recently that the country will require 6.7 trillion naira to service subsidy is worrisome. He said that it was imperative for the minister to appear before the committee to explain the actions and that subsidy will be borrowed for Nigerians to enjoy. And on the sporting arena, there's been a massive reaction following the Nigeria Football Federation's decision to list Nigerian Professional Football League club Kwara United as one of the country's representatives in the CAF Confederation Cup. The Confederation of African Football on Sunday confirmed Kwara United as Nigeria's second representatives in the competition ahead of the draw billed for today in Egypt. Sunusi Shu'aibu Musa has details of this and other sports updates.
Remo Stars are the other team representing Nigeria in the Confederation Cup, while Rivers United and Plateau United filed out in the Cup Champions League. Usually, the players side, as well as winners of the ITO Cup, represented the country in the Cup Confederation Cup. But Kwara announced on their Twitter handle Monday that the NAPF had entered their name for the competition. The remaining clubs are Niger Tornadoes, Lobby Stars, Wiki Tourists, Nasarawa United, Heartland, Katsina United, Kogi United, and Kano Pillars. President of the MPFL Club Owners Association, Isaac Dalladi, said they had contacted the NAPF following the shocking decision. In another development, top South African club side Tipa United have announced the signing of Etosa Ohodaro. Tipa United made the announcement on their Twitter handle on Tuesday. Ohodaro featured for South African second division club University of Pretoria last season, believes it will be Alexandra Usyk, who prepared his highly anticipated rematch with Anthony Joshua. The New Zealand heavyweight is former opponent of Joshua, with the two going head-to-head in 2018, which saw 80 adding Parker's WBO belt to his collection, as well as going the 12-round distance for the first time. Joshua is now at a much different stage of his career since that bout, having lost his heavyweight belt twice, most recently being outclassed by Usyk at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last September. Sinusi Shaib Musa, Freedom Radio.
The global news is coming to you from Freedom Radio 99.5 FM. You can send your comments, opinions, and watch us live on Freedom Radio Nigeria on Facebook.com. You can get the newspapers on our website, freedomradioenergy.com.
Basar musamman ga kowa da kowa a wannan watan za a samu raguwar naira 25,000 a farashin wayar Galaxy A73 da kike matukar so, kuma za a iya samun ragin a farashin wayoyin A53, A33, A23, A13, A03 da A03 Core. Me kike nema ne?
Takalmi na mana na nufi shagon Samsung mafi kusa. Kar a banni a baya.
A hanzarta maza a je a samu wayar a amintattun shagunan Samsung mafi kusa. Ku ci moriyar gara basar Samsung Promo. Gasar na gudana ne daga 4 zuwa 31 na watan Yuli na 2022. A hanzarta kan hajojin su kare.
Global News on 99.5 FM. The federal government has disbursed 100 billion naira to indigenous pharmaceutical manufacturers and healthcare investors as loans to expand their capital base, boost local production of medicines and medical consumables. President Muhammadu Buhari announced this when he received the new executive members of Nigerian Medical Association (NMA) in the presidential villa in Abuja today. He explained that the loan was extended through the Central Bank of Nigeria's support to the private pharmaceutical sector. According to him, the Health Sector Reform Committee, chaired by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, is currently exploring models for revitalizing the nation's healthcare system. This is in ways that improve quality of care and the benefit package to care providers. Health experts have advised food buyers against purchasing unhygienic and unsanitary food from vendors, which can easily lead to serious health issues such as vomiting and diarrhea. Food hygiene is relevant to everyone working in the food industry, including the distribution of food, selling food, producing, processing, storing, or retailing food. To this end, Abbas Idu Sugungun takes a look at how food can be unhygienic when mishandled.
The consequences of food hygiene can easily affect the health of those who consume food, including severe food poisoning can normally be treated at home, treating symptoms such as vomiting and diarrhea. However, serious food poisoning can require important medical attention. Freedom Radio interviews some Kano residents on preventive measures they take while purchasing food from vendors.
Manus Jamil. Well, as soon as I observed that the place is so dirty, so I just try to change another place. I do not try to buy food from those food sellers.
My name is Alice Abdullah Haruna. I used to buy road food when I was young, but now due to the I went to school, I learned from different teachers that if the food is not hygienic or anything that is not hygienic should not be used by a reasonable person. That is why I don't buy any food on the streets.
The Chief Medical Officer at Yusuf Metamasula University, Dr. Bilal Sharif Abdullahi, shed more light on how food can be easily contaminated.
Food has effect on health because most of the diseases we have, some are communicable disease, they can easily be transmitted through our mouth. We call them fecal-oral. They have fecal-oral means of transmission, maybe from the fecal matter to the hand to the mouth. Such diseases can easily be transmitted if taken or being prepared in a kind of unhygienic environment. Then for the non-communicable ones, some diseases, for example, a diabetic person will not be advised to be taking carbohydrates. Excessive intake of carbohydrate can worsen the symptoms of the diabetics.
Dr. Bilal urged food vendors to be vigilant in washing their hands in order to avoid disease.
Secondly, I will also advise people to properly wash their hands before handling food substances. And at the same time, I will also advise people not to handle money and food substances at the same time. For the food vendors, they should have a kind of picker spoon for serving food, and preferably they should have another person responsible for handling money, but not one person to handle both money and food particular at the same time.
Experts say poor food hygiene can practicing do not just affect those who consume food. Food poisoning can also be passed on to those who come into contact with sick people, making it a serious health issue. Abba Said Sugungun, Freedom Radio.
And in business, we have Dana with updates.
The House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee is investigating a $68.47 million, which is 44 billion naira, owed to the federal government by the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, and terminal operators. The funds were leased and throughput fees due to the federal government between 2006 and June 2022. According to the chairman of the committee, Wale Oke, on Monday, they discovered the anomalies and infractions perpetrated in submissions to the committee by the managing director, MD NPA Mohammed Bello Kogo. The NPA MD had alleged that one of the port operators in charge of the river's port and terminal operators, Nigeria Limited, used its own exchange rate in calculating revenue accruing to the federal government. Meanwhile, according to the newly released World Bank Fiscal Year 2022 audited financial statements for International Development Association, IDA, Nigeria has now an IDB debt stock of $13 billion since June 30th, 2022. Out of the 10 IDB borrowers list, Nigeria was rated 5th with $11.7 billion IDA debt stock as of June 30th, 2021. The debt is different from the outstanding loan of $486 million from the World Bank's International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Other top 5 countries on the list are said to have slightly reduced their IDA debt stock, except Nigeria. Sarazana, Freedom Radio.
And on the foreign scene, the United Nations Security Council is seeking to sustain peace in crisis within parts of Africa. Ms. Christina Duarte stated this today while briefing the Security Council at the UN headquarters in New York. Mohammed San Uba reports.
The United Nations Secretary General Special Advisor on Africa, Ms. Christina Duarte, said greater investment in state institutions is critical to countering peace and security challenges in Africa. She highlighted how African countries' efforts to both prevent and address violence are being undermined by external factors such as competition over natural resources, which fuels conflict, to the increasing presence of global terrorist networks that are gaining foothold in some regions. She noted that these efforts are also being spoiled by internal factors, including discrimination in the delivery of public services, corruption and non-inclusive planning and budgeting processes. Furthermore, in areas where the state is absent, service delivery is being provided by non-state actors such as criminal and terrorist groups. According to her, investing in institutional infrastructure is essential to build the capacities to tackle the internal causes of violence. Meanwhile, the U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, has appealed to governments, communities, and people across Africa to embrace Washington's vision of democracy, openness, and economic partnership in the first major stage of a three-nation tour of sub-Saharan Africa. Blinken was speaking in South Africa on the first stop of his tour, which include the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. The new diplomatic effort comes after several years during which Washington appeared uninterested in sub-Saharan Africa. The tour has been portrayed as an attempt to counter recent effort by Russia and China to gain influence on the continent. Muhammad San Uba, Freedom Radio.
And with this, we've come to the end of today's Global News on the
Stay tuned to 99.5 FM.